Part 3, How to Handle Incoming Items. The 5 Decisions. Okay, paper, emails, voicemails, verbal requests like down the hall stuff or hey, would you take care of this? We've got to capture that somehow or it will slip away from us. And your thoughts, things you think of that you'd like to do or need to do. I need to follow up on this, etc. That's the 5 that are coming at you. And so that makes it a little easier to me, I think. Well, it's not a million things, it's just 5. I just need to deal with these 5. Getting organized is often a project that people think they can work in between other projects and priorities. Actually, it's a very high priority project. If you are extremely unorganized, it should come before most other projects. Allocate specific blocks of time to getting organized. Do not get distracted and work on other tasks or projects during this allocated time. There is actually a pattern that you need to follow to increase your chances of success, and there are 4 steps to the pattern. Use this 4-step process to keep your organizing project on track. First, gather all items to be considered, like a cattle herder gathering all his cows from different hilltops. 2, filter out clutter and unnecessary or low-value items. 3, prioritize your workload. And 4, do the work. This is what I mean by approaching your organization project in an organized manner. Most people do not have a structured process for getting organized. Therefore, they quickly become overwhelmed with the task. Their organizing project breaks down when they get distracted by other issues. For example, let's say we decide to clean out a closet on a Sunday morning. As we begin to pull things out of the closet and take them to other parts of the house to put them away, we notice that other areas in the house also need attention. If we begin to work on the other areas, we become distracted from our original project. This can quickly lead to being overwhelmed if we aren't careful. Pick one area to organize and go through the 4 steps very methodically. Organize one area at a time, significantly increasing the chances that you will ultimately be successful. This is another example of simply breaking a big problem into smaller problems that are easier to deal with. Continuing with the closet. 1, take everything out of the closet first. 2, have a stack of boxes there to begin putting things in that go in other areas. 3, then only put back in the closet what you really want in there. As with a closet or a room in your house or your office, begin with the area that's bothering you the most and get closure on it. Then move to the next most bothersome area. Do not try to organize your entire office at once. Organize one desk drawer, one bookshelf, your computer desktop, one file drawer, etc. Follow the 4-part sequence, get closure, pick another area. Okay, how does this apply to the 5 incoming items? Well, what if you took the first item off your pile in your inbox and worked on it for an hour and a half and you get it done, but the next item in your stack is much more important than the one you just did? That's a rookie mistake in getting organized. You didn't follow the sequence. Gather, filter, and prioritize, and then start working on things. Now this gets even cooler. There are only 4 things to do to organize your incoming items. There are only 5 things to do with them. How many of you have heard the old adage, handle every piece of paper only once? You can't realistically follow up on that advice. You can, however, learn to make one of 5 sensible choices each time you encounter a new incoming item. This is one of the simplest and most important ideas presented during this course. Here are the 5 simple choices to apply each time you encounter a new incoming item in your life. 5 decisions for every incoming item. Discard, or recycle, delegate, take immediate action, file for follow-up, or put in a reference file. I'll go over each one of these. The first thing you should do when you have an incoming item is decide immediately whether it can be thrown away or discarded. Learning to throw away, delete, or shred things is one of the most significant barriers to success if you want to get organized. You must get significantly better at discarding unneeded things. I have found this step to be the #1 problem. People can't throw things away. For example, my 92-year-old mom and dad. All mail that comes in gets quickly sifted through and then dumped on a kitchen counter or a living room coffee table. After a week, it starts to look pretty cluttered. It's better to stand near a trash can while sifting your mail and immediately throw away the junk stuff. Same for incoming emails. Delete the junk mail immediately. And remember to delete your trash folder often too. Some people do much better at discarding if they have a partner helping them, or they compete with someone else to do the best job, or just have a body double present during the clutter clearing process. You can learn more about the body double concept in Judith Kohlberg's book titled Conquering Chronic Disorganization. The body double doesn't do anything but just sit quietly and be there. But this has an interesting effect on the person getting rid of stuff in that it mystically encourages them. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you all to conduct a serious throwaway session before you begin organizing your office or home. Discard anything that you do not use, need, or love having around. It is often better to do this in partnership with someone else. People will usually discard more items if someone is supporting them to clean up. Do not try to organize things you should not be keeping in the first place. It's really hard to get started, but once you do, you'll find that it gets easier and easier. There's a momentum element to clearing clutter. Try to set aside a long enough period of time for your throwaway session to allow the momentum factor to kick in. Spend as much or more time thinking about what to eliminate from your life as you do thinking about what to accumulate in your life. Sometimes the real value comes from things that are not present in your life. Discard anything that you do not use, need, or love. If it's a document, decide if you need it in paper form. If not, put it in a pile to later scan into digital form. This is the digital age, so use the technology to take the physical items out of your life. For 2 years, I offered a business where I transferred the contents of people's filing cabinets to a digital filing system. Businesses loved it. Personal people loved it. It also makes it much easier to find a certain document later if needed. Discard things that bring up negative thoughts if at all possible, like old photos, etc. Have a ceremony to say goodbye to special things that you are letting go of. If you want to, take a photo of the item for memory's sake, and then let it go. Sounds silly, but it brings closure to those parts of your life. You could also write a goodbye letter to the item, reminiscing on paper, and when you're done, discard the item. Very few people learn how to effectively delegate, and very few people use this technique to solve many of their can't get it all done problems. There are 5 steps to effective delegating. First, select the right person for the job. Second, clarify clearly what needs to be done. Third, verify understanding of what needs to be done. Fourth, set a completion date or a deadline. And fifth, get agreement on the completion date. First step, select the right person for the job. Ask yourself, who is the best match in terms of skills and talent? Who needs to learn to do this job the most? And who will the job energize, or will the person you've selected be drained? So pick someone who it will energize. Second, clarify what needs to be done. Lack of clarity leads to confusion, and clarity leads to focus. Verify understanding of what needs to be done. Ask the person who will work on the task to mirror back your instructions, to repeat what you have said and explain what they understand that to mean. Do not just ask, "Do you understand?" because the other person will usually say yes, even if they don't understand. Fourth, set a completion date or a deadline. Avoid potential misunderstanding on a timeline. And fifth, get an agreement on the completion date. Deal with any issues or problems related to the completion date at the front end. When you delegate a project, place a reminder in your Outlook or whatever device or software you might use to remind yourself to help you remember to periodically contact the person working on the project and check on the status. Everyone in every organization has one of 3 follow-up reputations: sometimes, always, or never. Try to create an always follow-up reputation. Here are 6 common reasons why many of us don't delegate much. We don't know how. We are control freaks. We can't let go of anything. We don't trust others. We have an unhealthy need for power and domination. We don't know how to teach and develop people. We think we can always do it better than anyone else. If we don't do it, it won't get done, right? Here are some interesting statistics on reading from the American Bookseller Surveys. 50% of high school graduates never read another book. 42% of college graduates never read another book. People that actually purchase a book rarely get past page 18. Don't be one of the above statistics. Knowledge is power. Find books on how to get organized and read them. If you have trouble delegating, work on the issues in your personality that are roadblocks to effective delegating. The more information your brain has about creating new habits, the easier it is to do it. Take immediate action. Take immediate action if the item just requires a quick phone call or a quick email response, or you can handle it in some other way in 2 minutes. It isn't necessary or advisable to take everything I say here today literally. Be flexible about how you implement the ideas in this course. The 2-minute rule or less idea is a guideline, not a rule. The idea is handle it right away if it won't take much time, and get it out of your stack of incoming items. Most of the items probably qualify for the handle every incoming item only once guideline. Keep the small tasks flowing in and out of your life. The word clutter comes from the old word clotter, meaning to clot or get stuck. Think of these small tasks as you would think of bad cholesterol that clogs your arteries. You're not just letting tasks back up and clog your workflow. If you do not keep things flowing through your life, you are allowing stress to build up and drain your energy as well. Now, what if something comes in that won't fit in discard, delegate, or take immediate action? Or it's an item you want to keep, but you are not required to take any further action on it at this time. You put it in a reference file. There are 2 kinds of reference files: long-term files, like bills or records, and follow-up files. This is the age of electronic communication. I have created folders in my email as well as folders on my computer to store incoming items. I will cover the 1 to 31 days folder in Part 4. Go paperless as much as you can, but make sure your phone and computer are both backed up online and, if possible, also to an external hard drive. Let's delve deeper in Part 4,